I'm Jérôme Vieilledent. I'm the CTO of Code Rhapsody, former software engineer at Easy Systems. And we'll work a bit on increasing the Easy power. So, well, the agenda said only EzCoreExtraBundle, but since May, an important feature from EzCoreExtraBundle has been extracted to another one, which is Easy Platform Design Engine. So this is why I'm going to present you both of them, and we're going to work with them both. Right. So first, who already knows about Easy Platform Design Engine? No one. Okay, good. So that will be a discovery for everyone, so that's perfect. So basically, this is a design fallback system for Easy Platform. It lets you define fallback order for templates and assets. So it's basically a theme system, a bit like lib theme bundle could do with the standard Symfony applications. For those who know Easy Published Legacy, it's very similar to the legacy design fallback system. So it was one of the missing parts in Easy 5, actually. So as I said, it was initially implemented in EzCoreExtraBundle, but I was kindly asked by Easy Systems if I could extract it, so to be official. So it's now an official bundle. It ships by default in Easy Platform, starting Easy Platform 1.10, I think. But it works with Easy Platform 1.0. And it's still MIT license. Right, first, it's important to get some terminology about Easy Platform Design Engine. Basically, we have two main terms, which is theme and design. Theme is basically a label collection of templates or assets. And a design is a collection of themes with a fallback order. We'll see that later. So basically, you will declare your design with a name, arbitrary, and you will configure it to use dedicated themes within an order. And then you will have to configure your design in the site access. So here it is. Yeah. So basically, you have an easy design key in your configuration, in your easyplatform.yml or whatever configuration file. And you will have here a design list. So here I added my design with an order, theme 1 and theme 2. So basically, the system will look for theme 1 first for templates and assets. And if it doesn't, if the system doesn't find in theme 1, it will fall back to theme 2. Then you just have to configure your site access, your design for your site access. So this is in standard configuration. In here, your site access name, whatever it is. And then with a new key, design, my design. It works, as far as I remember, with the kernel 6.7 maybe. If it doesn't, then it will be a 6.9 or 6.10. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, if it doesn't work here, you will have EzCoreExtraBundle anyway. So basically, first for templates. For templates, you will have a convention for template locations. So a theme directory must be located somewhere. So first, what is usually recommended if you follow Symfony best practices, you will first set your templates, or place your templates, sorry, at the application level. So if you're using Easy Platform here, in app, resources, views, and then themes, followed by the theme name. You can also place themed templates inside your bundle. It's basically the same rule each time. So typical path for a given theme. If we take the first one, app, resources, views, themes, foo, every template under there will be part of the foo theme. In the second one, the bar theme. And same for templates. In the fourth one, we'll define a new, the best theme. And for usage then, you will use a new @EasyDesign twig namespace. So this is because for themes for templates, the design engine for templates is leveraged by the twig namespaces feature, which is native actually. So instead of doing your logical path for templates, for loading in includes or whatever else, you would just prefix it with @EasyDesign, like if you would do for @YourBundle/your template. It's the same feature. So you can do that here for, you will no, this one. Some templates directly under one of the configure themes for your current design. @EasyDesign is just a generic namespace, which will be then converted to the appropriate folder. And another template here. So basically, it will look for another template.html.twig inside the full subdirectory of your regular views directories. You can also use that in your template rules or override rules. So basically everywhere, anywhere you used to configure your templates for, like in a controller, in configuration, in includes, in everywhere you set a template name, you can use @EasyDesign. It will automatically fall back in your using themes. So here for the home page of your website, for the full view, you just configure @EasyDesign/full/home.html.twig and it will pick the right template up. Of course, don't forget the quotes here because, as you might know, the character is a reserved character in YAML. So otherwise it will just blow up. So, of course there is a, yeah.
So I can also use the placeholder in PHP, right?
Yeah, for the recording.
Okay, at first I can use the namespace placeholder also in PHP to addressing template?
Yes.
Okay. And it is possible to use themes from vendor bundles also?
Yes, I will come to that.
Ah, okay.
This is a quite new features from from the latest version. So the template's fallback order, which follows the regular convention I explained, will be the following. So if you try to load the template with the @EasyDesign namespace, the system will first look in your global view override directory, which is app resources views, like any other template. Second, it will look for a global theme override, which is app resources views, themes, and the theme name. And then it will look for SRC, your bundle, or vendor, your bundle, etc. In resource views and the theme name. I had something to say, but I forgot. The first one. So this is the order the system picks up, right? So if there is a home.html.twig, which is already in the views or app resources views directory, then it will take it first, and so on. Oh yeah, about bundle orders, then it will the fallback order between bundles will be the order of instantiation in your app kernel. So it's quite easy to figure out if you have a bundle which has more priority than another one. And you can add. Okay. So you're missing one big pixel. But you can also add additional theme path by configuration in EasyDesign namespace key. Just add template theme path here. So basically, the key my theme here could be whatever you name it, the theme that you already use in your application, and then path in your project. So that can be a vendor one, for instance. So basically here, what the example here is that we're using, for my theme, we're using false user bundle views directory. So then you don't need lib theme bundle anymore, since you can leverage any views directory for loading templates. However, always remember that directories that follow the convention will always have the priority. So these ones are checked at the end only. You can also add additional override path, like the app resource views stuff. You can add a few override path, additional override path. So it can also be somewhere else in the system, since this is used by the Twig file system loader. So it can be anywhere accessible by the system anyway. And if you're a fan of phpstorm like I am, Easy Platform Design Engine comes with phpstorm support. Thanks to the special file IDE twig.json, which is supported by the Symfony plugin for phpstorm, you will be able to use goto, like control-click. It will detect all available at EasyDesign path. And also for file navigation. If you go to navigate, go to file, you just type the template name. It will also autocomplete all available path. This is only for debug mode. You can also, of course, override it if you want it with prod environments, which I don't think it makes sense, but you can do that anyway. Right, so this was for templates. The second part is for assets, like images, CSS files, JS files, and so on. So here again, we're using EasyDesign keywords, but here as an asset package. It uses the asset components, which is available as of Symfony 2.7. However, it will only work with the Symfony 2.8 minimum anyway. So instead of just using here assets js/foo.js, you will add a second argument using as EasyDesign, which is actually the package name you want to use. And then it will resolve automatically. It works with any kind of assets which is accessible in a web directory. So any asset that you already exported with the asset install command. Typical path again. So because this follows a convention as well. You can have assets in your public resources directory from your bundle. So your bundle, resources, public, themes, foo theme. Same for bar theme. And you can also directly place your assets like it is recommended in Symfony best practices, directly in web/assets/themes/your bundle, your theme name. And the global override is web/assets. So the fallback order, basically it will first check in a global override, so web/assets. Then the application theme directory, so web/assets/theme/theme name. And then your bundle directories. So if you of course need to run assets install command, like for any assets anyway. So then you will, the theme directory will be web bundles, your bundle name, themes, etc. Okay. That was for platform design engine. This is what we're going to put our hands on first. But I'm going to finish the slides first so that we can have a global insight of what we're going to do. So EzCoreExtraBundle, what is it? This is a set of additional tools that make easy development smoother and cooler. It's designed for Easy Publish 5.4 plus and Easy Platform. It works with Easy Platform 1.0. It also works with Symfony 3.3 if you're already using it. So Symfony 2.8 minimum, 3 highly recommended. And Easy Platform is already compatible with it. You don't have to wait for Easy Platform 2.0 for that. So what's in there? Configurable templates variable injection, context-aware twig global variables, simplified authorization checks, and we're going to cover that in detail. So first, configurable template variable injection, what this is about. It's meant for simple to intermediate needs. So basically, the goal of that is to avoid creating a controller for each and every custom variable you need. For a full view template, I mean, for content view. So you configure stuff to be exposed as additional variables in a view template. You can configure different types of parameters, plain parameters, which values are directly defined in the configuration. That can be anything, from a string to a boolean to an array or a hash or whatever. Container parameters, so placeholders, they will be resolved by Symfony automatically. Also dynamic settings. Do you know already dynamic settings? Yes? Okay, a few of them are nodding, so I guess so. Dynamic settings is basically using the config resolver so that you can have the right parameter value from your context. So you can have then different values from different site accesses. You don't have to inject the config resolver like you used to need. Just have a specific notation for that, which is $, the parameter name, followed by the namespace, and eventually possibly the scope. This is available as of Easy Publish 5.4, so this is not very new. And last but not least, parameter provider services. So this is a full example, which is completely fucked up because of too much code, but anyway. So I guess you recognize this. This is a view configuration. Oh, this is now content view, but anyway. Full article test, yeah. You have your template here. That could be at Easy Design stuff. And inside the special params key, here you can define whatever you need. If you're using Easy Platform, you can even use a query so that you can run a query controller, but I won't cover that. Here, for example, we're exposing an OS types variable with specific values. We're exposing the secret parameter. And here, a default TTL for the content TTL for varnish, for example. This is really simple example. And the first key here is actually using a parameter provider. So here, we'll see that in details after, but you're pointing to a service that will provide additional parameters to your view. So in your templates, here we're extending page layout, and we will have the secret key that we passed here automatically. Same for the variable OS types. You can see here that we still have the array types we can loop over. And then a bit more about parameter provider. Is that clear? Yeah? Okay. Don't follow to stop me if I'm going too fast. So parameter provider, what is it? It's a service called to dynamically inject variables into views. So it's interesting because then it's more for more advanced needs. But you still don't want to implement a full custom controller because you have more constraints for that. So basically, as it is a service, it's as flexible as a service can be. You can call your own dependencies and define reusable sets of variables. That's the most important part. So, and as any business logic should be implemented into services, then you follow the pattern. So for that, of course, you need to implement a service. So you have a service definition here. So here we have some service reference. And most important is that you need to have this tag here, which is EzCoreExtraBundle.viewParameterProvider. And for now, you need to implement the alias for my provider. Remember in the configuration, here, my provider, this is the alias here. Oh, well, it's not the same, but anyway. This alias attributes will eventually go away since I'm working on some refactoring about that to use the auto configure feature in Symfony for services. Then your parameter provider is just a plain class implementing the view parameter provider interface. And that's basically it. You have just one method to implement, which is get view parameters. You get the current view, which is being configured, and an array of options, because you also can pass options to it. And then, well, you have access to the location, and to the content, the current location, the current content. All you have to do is to return an array or hash of variables you want to inject into the view. So here, with that, it will be rare when you have to implement custom controllers. You will probably still need to implement custom controllers for more advanced stuff, but most of the time this is the only thing needed, and it will drastically reduce the time you need to implement a new complex view, let's say. As I said, parent provider can also manage options. So you have an abstract class, which is configurable view parameter provider, which allows you to define options. So that options that are available for your parent provider. So here, for example, we have a children type, which is required, and the limit. It will be useful to return children content, for instance. And this is, as this is reusable, you will be able to easily manage different queries to be injected in different views. And you will be able to reuse them. And thanks to options, we'll have many variations possible. Then, in your template, it will be my provider here, which was the name we used in the configuration, right? The name of the provider. Parameters that are passed through parameter providers are namespaced into this name. So we use the my provider name, so it will be injected in my provider variable, so that it doesn't collide with any defined variable or already defined variable. Okay, so this is for view template in variable injection. The second type of injection is context-aware twig global variables. I guess you already use twig global variables, aren't you? Yeah? Okay. So this is exactly like twig global variables, but site access aware. That can be useful for meta tags, default values, stuff like that. And if you're using a multi-site environment. So you configure them, instead of configuring them in the twig bundle, you will configure them in an EzCoreExtraBundle, and it will follow the same notation for configuration. So those variables will be available in all your templates, just like twig global variables, but per context, per site access. And the last feature, at least for now, is simplified authorization checks. I won't be able to say that again. So if you already checked permissions, you probably know that you actually can do that only in PHP code, because it's quite complex for the easy permission system. As you need to construct a special object here, which is authorization attribute. So to check content read on a specific content, for instance, here. But so the problem here is that you won't be able to use isGranted twig template function, which can be quite annoying. But with EzCoreExtra, you just have a simplified notation, so no more object of authorize attributes objects. You just use easy content read here, easy content read, and then a second argument will be the target, so the given content. This is already used in the NetGen tags bundle because it allows a lot of possibilities here for authorization checks. And of course, it's swing friendly. You can use regular isGranted twig function. It will work the same way. So this is that's it. That's what we're going to work on today. So, and what's next about features? So we'll have. I'm working on enabling auto-configure for view parameters providers. So this is the new feature from Symfony 3.3, which is quite cool. So you don't have to define tags in your service definition. So that will be a bit lighter. Add expression language support for configured view parameters. So basically, I showed you you could add container placeholders parameters and also dynamic settings, but the idea here would be to use expression language. So if you don't know it, it's a very powerful Symfony component. Basically, you could be able to load the location or load the content directly from your configuration via simple expression. So it will reduce the need to implement view parameters. And allowing to register global parameter provider, so to use them into twig globals, and also define parameter providers that would be available for every views, for instance. That's it for the presentation. So it was a bit long, I'm sorry. So now it's time to get our hands dirty. Of course, the virtual appliance isn't up to date since updated last updated like an hour and a half ago. So you will have to go to the EzCore directory on your virtual appliance and do all these Git commands, so Git Fetch origin, kick out the master branch and recreate it. So yeah, it might take like a few minutes since like I blew up everything, so it will re-download everything. What? It was in yours. What? It's not the right directory. Well. It's in summercamp/EzCore. And it is, by default, you're on the master branch. Oh, you do not have the last appliance. Right. Sorry. Is the Wi-Fi strong enough for you to fetch? Yeah? Cool. So we'll start on step 0 tag so that everything is already set for you. It will save us some time. Yeah, we'll first need to log into the admin interface. So ezcore.websc/easy to get to the admin interface, and admin publish. Admin as username, publish as password. Okay. So maybe I can use the left. Okay. Better. So let me. No, that doesn't work. So terminal. No, console. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Okay, so git checkout step. Git checkout step 0. It doesn't like the space. Yeah. Right. Git checkout step 0. Here we go. So you might seen it, but if you go to ezcore.websc, it's actually the GoBike website from the normal tutorial for Easy Platform you can find on doc.easy.no. So we started from that with a simple here. It's exactly the same if it loads. Yes. So we just added a trip to here, which is Lyon to Rovinj. Of course, we did that cycling. Or not. It's not important anyway. But this is that maybe it's because of my yeah. I didn't do the composer install, so. Okay. Now. So as everything is about theming first, we're gonna use themes and design. So we'll have to add a new site access first. So this is a very easy task. So just open your app config. Whoa. Okay. Oh, okay. It's indexing. So app config.
With your phpstorm version, you can stop indexing.
Yeah, I know, but we will need it. We will probably need it. I didn't check if. Yeah. Okay. Easy platform. We don't need that. Okay. So here we have our main configuration file. So what we just need is to add a new site access. So we'll add it here. So we'll have site. We'll add site 2, and we'll add it to the regular site group. So here we have 2 site accesses, and we'll share what is here inside site. We'll just remove this line. Oh, okay. So that all the configuration is now shared by all the 2 site accesses. And we'll add our design configuration. So at the end of the file, we just will add easy design key, design lists, and we'll have 2 designs. So my design 1, so it will be for the first one, and okay. That's the problem with the French Mac keyboards. So we'll have a corporate theme, and the second one, my design 2. Well, we'll duplicate this one. We'll have a site 2 theme followed by the corporate one. Thank you. That was a test. Okay. So our designs are not now ready. All I need to do now will be to configure those designs for our site accesses. So let's see, first for the site. Oops, I'm not on the first one. I hate this. Okay, so for the sites, we'll set the design to my design 1. And for the site 2, okay, I will fix this. Design will be my design 2. Okay, that's 8 spaces. So, this is quite clear, I guess. So the first design will use only one theme, and the second one will have 2 themes, one dedicated for the second site access, and will fall back to the corporate one. So we will do simple stuff here. Yeah.
Same column as
Okay, now that it is configured, we'll move a few stuff away. So first, we'll move our images, which are oh. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Alt 1. I was missing the. Yeah. And it doesn't work anyway. Okay. Let's have a look at the web directories. So here we have different assets directly into images. So we'll move those images into the proper theme. So we'll move everything into the corporate one, which is the base one we want to use. Okay? So we'll just have to create under web assets, we'll create a new folder named themes/corporate. And we'll create the 2 folders for you. And then we just have to move this images folder into the new theme folder. Oh, so I have to let him index. That won't be a good thing. Okay, MV, web assets, images to web assets, themes, corporate. That should be okay now. Well, do you have the same update indices problem? No? Okay. It's just that I'm the unlucky one. Okay. But now, if we update, we will probably have a bit of an issue with a lot of 404. Yeah, basically we're missing all images. That's normal because all our templates are pointing to the old folder. So, no. So we're going to open our app resources views. First, the page layout.html.twig. And everywhere, where is there an assets function? So here on line 33, you see here? Okay. We'll add easy design package. Come on. And we'll just remove the assets folder here. So now we're referencing directly the image under the theme folder. But we're now using easy design easy design package, asset package. We'll do the same here on line 59. So we're adding easy design here and removing the asset folder. So let's check this out. Bless you. Okay, once you've done that, we need to go to the welcome. No, that's not the one. Because it's still broken. Okay, so now we get again the bike image, and here the Go bike image as well. But we're still missing background images because they are defined in CSS, right? So now we need to change things a bit. So in your easyplatform.yaml, we're gonna define a new aesthetic package as well, because we're still using aesthetic. I know that's bad. So in aesthetic, you can also define asset packages. So this is why we're doing that. Maybe, as you see here, just in the page layout, let's see here. I hate Linux. Okay, see here. We have we're using style sheets aesthetic tag. So basically here it's taking all CSSs under assets/CSS. But the problem is that we want one CSS for the theme basically. So we're going to create here an aesthetic package so that we can group different CSSs, basically the basic ones, and we'll load a different CSS, the only one which will change depending on the current design. So here in the assets, we have a corporate CSS package, and in there we have 3 to define: assets, themes, corporate. We'll move them just after. Corporate, CSS. Well, we have Bootstrap, .min.css. We'll have Bootstrap theme. It's not, well, no, it's not that it's deprecated. It's not shipped by default in Symfony anymore. As Symfony 2.8, but you can still use it. However, now for we'll have starting Symfony 3.4, we'll have the JSN core stuff. Don't remember how it's called, but it's a new library that makes easier to pack assets like that. Aesthetic is pure PHP, so you have it's not really handy for managing assets. So Bootstrap theme.css, and the last one will be normalize.css. Okay, so in the templates, now instead of this, we'll just call the @corporate CSS. And all the CSS is here, not here, there. We'll move them into the corporate theme as well. Yeah. So that's basically all the ones here. You can find them in web assets, CSS, and you have 4 of them. So we packaged the 3 main ones, and the last one will add a new tag for it. So move web assets CSS folder into the corporate theme. Yeah, no, do not search for reference. We'll do the same for fonts and JS into the corporate one. So now that we have the main ones here in the style sheets tag, we'll have a new tag, a new link tag, style sheets, and href here. Asset CSS / style.css with which package? Easy Design. And this. So now we have just separated the theme part of it. Let's just see if it works. Just I will go back to the. Oh. Okay, because I forgot one level. Sorry for that. So in the easy platform here, I missed one important one, which is inputs. Sorry. So now that should work. Should you cooperate CSS? Filter CSS rewrites. Oh. No, it's because we need to rebuild aesthetic. Bin console aesthetic dump. Yeah, it's not. Oh, app console, sorry. Aesthetic dump. I did it, but yeah, I moved the JS files, but we'll have to do that later. So the script one is here. So it will be, yeah, we'll need to move the stuff as well. Yes, you're right. So corporate JS, right? Corporate JS. So This is assets, themes, corporate, JS, and then bootstrap.mean .js and jQuery.mean.js. Once we defined it, we'll do the same here. So it will be at corporate.js. Rebuild aesthetic again. Corporate.js, Bootstrap, themes, corporate.js. No? What doesn't want it? Okay. Doesn't want it. Is it working for you? No? You also have this error? Shit. Sorry? Okay, thank you. So when in doubt, just clear the cache. And aesthetic dump. Thank you. So we'll recap. What? No corporate JS. That's interesting. Corporate CSS. Okay. Git checkout. Now, okay. So, okay, it's exactly the same. Invalidating cache, sorry for that. Maybe, anyway, you can already jump to the step one in any case. To move to step one, you will have to remove all in web assets themes. And then git checkout step one. Oh. Sorry. RM. Step one. Okay. So basically, what do we have now? Now we have two site accesses with two different designs. Right? Just for an example here, you will also have in EasyPlatform.yaml additional templates theme path. Here, basically, platform UI bundle. So we are not going to use templates from there, but it will be part of my external theme, just for the example. What we did here, we added a specific link here with Easy Design package for the CSS. We'll just experience it just after that. And different, oh, okay, that was that. Same for JavaScript here. If we have a look at resources, views, themes, corporate, we have the welcome.html.twig, which doesn't change. And which will change, sorry, for both of them. So, that's exactly what I'm going to show. Here, this is the first one. The default site access is site. Woo! You know it better than me. Mm-hmm. Okay, Composer install. What the sorry. Cache clear. The source file bootstrap.mean.css and okay. Don't panic. No, web assets. Yeah, because I'm stupid enough to have removed them. Right? Exactly. Web. Now, and it's blocked. No, now it's blocked. I'm really... Okay. Everything is perfect, right? I try this, yes. Better? Yeah? Okay. Assets install and then ascetic install. Maybe, no, it doesn't, still doesn't want it. Sorry?
Aesthetic dump and cache. You can make
Okay, so aesthetic dump, right? Whoa, I think I'm already getting a nap from the lunch, right? Then CC. Then composer install. Let's try. I'm not lucky at all. I think it's now I can have the developer excuse, but it worked on my website. Right, so now we have something. So we have still have the first site. If you go to the second one, if you go to site 2, you will be redirected to the login page. That's normal. Anyone can tell me why?
Access rights, the backend right?
The what?
You need the access right for user login.
Yes, we need the anonymous user to be able to log in into the new site access. So that's why we opened the the platform UI tab. So EzCore.websc/easy. We'll go to users, to roles, sorry, not users. Yeah, of course, I'm disconnected. Admin and publish. Admin as a username and publish as the password. So go to admin panel, roles, anonymous, and then here edit limitations on content read. Not user login, sorry, user login site access. So we just need to add the new site access and save. Now, let's go to site 2 without /login, and we'll have it. So to answer your question, why do we have to separate style.css from both sites? It's because we use themes precisely. So here we have different colors, and then here. And this is the image in the CSS, a background image from the CSS. So we are loading the first one and the second one. So let me show you. In Web Assets, Themes Corporate, CSS, we have the style.css here, and same, CSS and image, right? So the difference we have line 33 or 36, okay. Of course.
And then you can also combine.
This is a really simplistic example showing you that you can easily change CSS, that any asset actually that you can load. It works for images, so that's why here we have logo just letters which change. Okay, anyway. It can work in any kind of asset. So even for JavaScript, you can define specific, let's say main.js. Of course, you can add this in theme templates, like because you customize them. But if you want to have the main, like let's say template framework, let it call it. So we have only one page layout, and we want to customize the fewest number of templates to add a new website, which will always use the same structure. So then it will be easier to override, just override assets and from place to place override templates with blocks. So this is what we did here in welcome .html.twig as well.
So, but what I mean is, for example, in your static input,
Yes.
you can edit with @easydesign.
Yes.
The side snippet, and then it will be.
No. In the aesthetic tag, you mean? No, this doesn't work within the aesthetic tag. Yeah, this is one limitation. This is due to aesthetic, because aesthetic doesn't know anything about context. When you run aesthetic dump, it crawls each and every template within only one context, and is looking for JavaScript or stylesheets tags. So when it finds one, it will just have the default site access context. So it's not smart enough to do that. That's why we extracted it. And anyway, best is probably not to use aesthetic and use something else like Grunt or JavaScript Encore, stuff like that. So here, let's get back to the configuration. You can see that now here we have @easydesign/full/welcome.html.twig. We made two different templates, one for corporate and the other one for site 2. So see here, it's the basic one, and in the other one, we added this simple sentence. I'm in thematic welcome template. So this should really simply show you that using a simple template, so here it is. You can easily customize and use the main structure and easily customize a view template from your context. Just like you did with Easy Publish Legacy, for those who already know it. It's the same thing. And yes, I didn't show you the navigate stuff. So if we do file, it's Symfony symbol. Easy design. Now let's say, where is the double? It's here. We'll copy that, and let's say you want to include something. Not even sure that the Symfony plugin is already up and running. Yes. So let's say we would just want to, you can see here, it also appears in the list. So of course I won't do that. That doesn't make sense because we're already in welcome. Yeah?
I have a question. Okay, you put the welcome HTML twig into the theme full folder, right? So, but my question is, what happens if you have the welcome HTML twig in the views full folder? So outside of the theme, does it work as a backup? Or
yes.
Theme okay.
This is the app resource views is always the global override one. So if the template is present here, it will always pick it up first. So this is really like design. In Easy Publish Legacy, it was inside the design folder, right? And of course, you can then control click.
But design folder was the weakest one, so it was the last fallback.
You sure about that? It was the weakest one?
Yes, yes. If you didn't have it, it was
Well, then take it about settings, legacy settings. It's basically like settings override. Okay. So if you have something defined here, it will always take over everything else. So that's the same principle. And so here, if you have easy design and you have different templates using easy design, you just have to do control click. You have multiple implementation, that's fine, and it will propose you all of them. So here we have 2. And you just have to select the right one. So here, let's take this one. That does work as well in controllers. It won't work in configuration though, since the Symfony plugin doesn't recognize EasyPlatform.yaml. That's unfortunate, but we maybe need to propose something for that. But it will work in any case where you're calling a template, like this render from a controller, that will work. I don't know if we have a controller here, so I can show you. SRC. No, not at this step. What time are we supposed to have a break? It's not. Just to check. Sorry?
4 minutes.
In 4 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Any other question, maybe? Is that clear? I'm not sure. Yes? Yes, Nicolas?
What are the main differences with lib?
The main difference is that, well, first, it will only work in Easy Platform apps. Lib theme bundle can work with Easy Platform apps, but it's more declarative. And it's a really big really big stuff for maybe small features. Well, that's my point of view. I try to contribute this to lib theme bundle, but it's too generic, and with performance, it's not that good. So this one, Easy Platform Design Engine, will only work with Easy Platform, of course. If you have Easy Publish 5.4, you will have to use EzCoreExtraBundle only, the 1.x version. That will work as well, the same way. But here you can see it as maybe an extension of libcore theme bundle. Since as you can add declare additional theme path, then any view directory can be part of your theme. So then force user bundle or even Easy Publish kernel to have a standard theme. That will be very, very useful. And if you're implementing third-party bundles that you want to reuse across projects, then you only have to contribute the semantic configuration, expose the semantic configuration for Platform Design Engine to add additional path as well. So this is a quite flexible way to extend multi-site stuff. For you guys who are here, actually I figured out why we're still in Symfony 2.8. So we're going to fix a few things. We need to remove local tags because they were not fetched. So please do git tag-d step 1. And we'll do for step 2 and step 3 and step 4. And then git pull again. And you will have new tags. That's the problem when you do everything at the last minute. I know, but you know, I'm a slow learner. So git tag-d, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And then re-checkout, git checkout, step 1. If it complains because you have modified files, just do a git reset --hard. It will wipe everything out. And then git checkout step 1. We're forced to do that because a few minutes before the workshop, I forced push and rewrite the history of the Git repository. Yeah, I know. And I made new tags, so to be on Symfony 3.3. So if everything is up for you about Git, then do a composer install. And now we will have, hopefully, no problem. Yeah. Woo! No error. So now the console is in bin. PHP bin console. And we have PHP 7. Okay. So we're close everything. Was it? Okay, Control F4. Oh yeah, it will rebuild indices again. That's the main problem, yeah. Okay. Right. So we'll start smoothly and just use one of the simplest feature in EzCoreExtraBundle, which is twig global variables per site access. So let's say we want to add the website title. Okay, we have it here, beginner's tutorial, blah blah blah. So it's the same for the our two site accesses. If we have a look, it's here, right? Beginner's tutorial, bikes ride new. But we want it different for the two different site accesses. So let's say we want a new variable called website title. So where is it? Easy Platform. So open your easyplatform.yaml, please. And here we will add a new configuration node called EzCoreExtra. And here, we're going to add the key system, just like in EasyPublish configuration, and add a configuration for the site access. We'll add twig globals. And so we want the website underscore title variable inside every template, and we'll call it my summer camp site 1. And we just have to do the very same thing for the site 2. Twig globals, website title, my summer camp site 2. Easy.
And of course it works for every scope. I mean, if you have a group of site access, you can define a global for your group.
I could also add here site group, like that, I think. Twig, let's say, we'll try it. Twig globals, foo, hail summer camp 2017. Oops, typo. So now that it's configured, we just have to switch in the page layout.yaml and in the title HTML tag. We'll open 2 brackets. We'll do copy paste again. Website title and copy paste again. Hopefully everyone have noted it. And then cross your fingers and hope that not everything won't explode, and refresh. It's a bit slow since we changed the configuration, so it's recompiling the container. And voila, my summer camp site 1. And I fucked up something. I fucked something. Yeah. That was a test. See if you're followed. You succeeded. Then recompiling again. But hopefully using PHP 7 it's much faster. So here we have on site 2, my summer camp site 2, and for site 1, my summer camp site 1. So this is a very useful way to customize Twig global variables. I guess you all use Twig globals for from Symfony configuration. Yeah. So here, then, if you are in multi-site mode, you will be able to define, for example, the Google Analytics tag or the identifier, something like that, per site access. Yeah.
Can you reference the Symfony service like the regular global scanner?
Normally, yes.
Okay.
But even though it's really not recommended.
Why not?
Because it's bad. No, it's bad because you're mixing view layer and business layer.
Yes, okay, but for example, I'm using it for very thin services that just provide a couple of variables to tweak, not for the business logic.
So then maybe this is one of the things we're gonna do at the very end. So for parameter provider. And parameter provider will help you do that in my opinion, in a cleaner way, so that you don't expose the service itself. You only expose, you can only provide variables which come from the service. This is parameter provider, and for now it doesn't work with Twig globals, but version 2.1 of EzCoreExtraBundle will have this feature. So I just need to implement it, but it's trivial. So does everyone have this title? This title difference? Yeah, go back on configuration. So here it is. So as I don't know if every one of you knew you could do that, but actually Easy Publish kernel allows you to expose site access aware settings that way. So in every bundle, it's possible to implement semantic configuration with the site access aware, with context, different contexts. Just search in the documentation of Easy Platform. No. Yeah, tags bundle uses it. That's very handy very handy feature. So that was cool to restart. So now we want to use parameter injection. So for example, we'll have in our configuration here in welcome.html.twig. Let's say we want to inject predefined variables without having to implement a new custom controller. So for that, you see this params key. I told you about during the first presentation. So here we have a query. Means that it will use the query controller, but this have a few drawbacks. Like you can only have one query at a time. And we'll see that we will be able to work around this limitation with parameter provider. But first things first. Inside the query, not the query, inside the params here in welcome.html.twig, let's say we want a variable named foo with bar value. Simple. Okay. Is it true? We'll say, yeah, true. And let's say we want also an array, just like in the example. So we add, still inside the params key, a variable, we call it OS. Oh, and I need to do this, an array. So we have macOS, we have Linux, and we have lose those. Okay, just try this. Open your welcome.html.twig. So let's call the first one, the corporate one. And see if we have them. We're just gonna dump it just for demonstration. So, oh no. I need to do this. Somebody give me a real keyboard.
Can't you add French?
Yes, but the problem is how you do brackets and square brackets and pipe. And this doesn't work. So this is why I'm copy-pasting everywhere. Okay, so we're just gonna dump foo, for example. And we're gonna dump is it true variable. Okay, these are two of them. Foo, is it true? First thing first. I don't want to blow everything up again. So here they are. Oops. And as you can see, it respects the type you used in the configuration. This is very important.
But it is not done by normal PHP type casting, because you're writing true, but it could be a string also.
Yeah, but this is YAML parsing. I just wanted to show you that types you're defining inside configuration, inside YAML. So if I pass null, I will have a null type. If I pass a string, I will have a string type. So yeah, this is a very simple example. And we have OS. And do we have another thing?
Why is it available only on the sites that
We can copy paste on the other one. It's just because I chose welcome.html.twig. We could do that in the other one. We have ride.html.twig, or maybe it's simpler.
but it's available for the site group?
It's available for the whole site group. So let's do this inside the ride. It's exactly the same. Oh, okay. It didn't copy. Contrôle commande. Oui, je sais, mais ça n'a pas marché. It's okay. I will redo it. So it was dump OS. And copy, paste. Did I fuck something up? Seems so. So here for this one, I will do it for full ride. So OS will only be available on the ride.html.twig. Something is missing, I think. So, okay.
Go on the right.
So we created a ride here. And yeah. That's not a problem. We're missing an image, actually. So, width. That's because of an image. So we'll just remove this one. No, it's the map. Where is the image? Description, ending point, author.
No, it's for point of interest.
Okay, no problem. We'll just remove it. Yeah. So here we go. And we'll have for our two site accesses. The downside here will be that in the configuration, if you want different values from here and there, if you cannot use plain values like this. These are hard-coded values, right? Maybe we want to inject more dynamic stuff, like context-aware stuff. So this is where the dynamic settings comes into part. So here, I told you about the $ notation. So let's say we want just languages. It will dump the languages available for the current site access. This is context aware. So not OS then, but it will be languages. Then open ride. And here we dump languages. Recompiling again, and here it is. And dynamic settings are quite flexible, since you can also have your own. Dynamic settings are actually a convention, follow a convention for naming simple container parameters. So here it's for the default one, which is easy settings, which is the easy settings dot something dot languages. So it will then match the current the current context, the current site access. But you can also define the ones for you. One example we can do is, well, let's say UI modules for platform UI. You know this, well, no, I will be polite. Let's say we want to display all the UI modules. This is dynamic setting set in platform UI bundle. So if we look for it in default settings, platform UI. So here, modules. You see how it is. Maybe I can show you that. How it is set. To define a new dynamic setting, this is a bonus. You just have to set a namespace, which is here easy underscore platform UI. So this will be basically the main prefix of all your services, or anyway, your own namespace. Default here is what we call the scope. So default is the default value here. But here you can also have site, the site access name, or the site access group name, or global. So you see when you define settings in system, sites, and so on. This is in vendor if you're looking for it. And then this is the parameter name. So if you see here, Easy Platform UI, namespace. Default will be the scope, so whatever. And UI.modules will be actually the setting name. So if we want to reference this, in the dynamic setting here, we say between dollars, UI modules, right? UI dot modules, not underscore. UI dot modules. And then semicolon, the namespace easy underscore platform UI, which is the first part here. And if you want, you can also have a new semicolon and say, like for example, default or site 2 if you want to force the scope to get the value. This should suffice. So now, in my write.html.twig, I want to dump UI underscore modules variable, as this is the variable name I assigned. And recompiling. We have almost 400 UI modules for platform UI, which are loaded each and every time you're calling platform UI. So if you find it slow, that's because. That's the reason. So, okay, you will tell me, okay, fine, I can dump dynamic setting. I can even use container parameters, because I said you could do that too. Like here, we could add a secret, for instance, and having the secret parameter, which is in parameters.yaml. It will work the same way. So secret. So it's fine, but it's a bit limited, isn't it? It's cool for simple needs. This easy platform token is not secret, so change it. That's why we have parameter provider. So if you maybe remember the presentation I showed at the beginning, what could be use case? What could be one of the use case to use a parameter provider? Eddie, you don't have the right to answer. What pushes you to implement always a custom controller? That can be one use case. Yeah, load other new other content objects. For example, is a very good example. Loading children. What? Fetches in general. Yes. Or like you just said just before, the reasons that pushes you to inject services into Twig globals. So which I still don't understand why it's still here in Symfony as a feature. But anyway, it is possible. So, but don't do that at home. Okay, so for example, let's say we want. Here we have an article, well, a ride, and we want to load the owner. The owner of, like the author. Okay. Let's open this, go to the content section, and I'll see. Ah, I'm still disconnected. Let's say Lyon Rovinj as a ride. And if I go to details, I know that the creator of this content is administrator user. Okay, let's imagine that it's actually Eddie who who created this this content. We want to add it in our ride here. But what is the problem with this creator using API? It's not that it's not readable. Well, if you use the site API, maybe you will fix it. But by default, not using site API by NetGen, the owner of any content, you will not have the user object. You will only have its ID. So, by default, if you want to load the user and get its name, you need to do a controller and load the user by ID, and then forward to the view controller to render then the proper view. That's or use a sub request. But even using a sub request is a valid point. The problem with sub requests for only displaying a name is that you will kill your performance for nothing. Yeah. Yeah, you can also load by content ID.
From my point of view, for example, let's have for example, a quick function to fetch as a user inside template. Only example, because but from my stack point of view,
Yeah.
system stack, it will be fetched, it will be rendered, it will be passed with static HTML, and it will be pushed out. So
Yeah, sure. This is, but the problem here is the same problem that I said to Eddie about having services into Twig Global. So that the problem here is that you're mixing layers and you're making it difficult to reuse the information you're manipulating here across other parts of your project. Of course, you could do services that uses services and so on, but then it will be a real hassle. Twig functions are not made to do fetches. Even though it's possible since there are also services. A Twig function is supposed to filter or to dump very simple stuff, not do business logic or not trigger business logic, because this is the controller plus model responsibility.
It's debatable that fetching the owner of the content can be called business logic. So, in my point of view, if you have no other solution, using Twig functions to fetch the owner,
Yeah.
should be okay. What we did before the core bundle, before the site API, we didn't create the function to fetch any content. We created the Twig function to fetch the owner of the content.
Or the content type, for example.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So basically restricted to a slimmed down version of what you're trying to achieve. So you don't allow fetching any content, but the least functions, the list of the available functions that you need to display the big template.
Yeah.
And from my point of view, it's more like best practice, because if you thinking about the template which you compile in PHP code, it's the same if you do it like before in the controller or anywhere else, because you do two fetches, the database, and push the
Yep.
It's not a matter of performance. It will
No.
compile in PHP, like I get his side too. His point is valid one of mixing business logic.
yeah, that's only best practice.
Yeah, but the best practice, this is exactly what I'm going towards, so that's perfect. Best practices exists for a reason. Usually, when we say, no, don't do fetches from your templates, even though it's possible to implement a new stuff, I think someone implemented something for that. CJW, yeah, exactly. And when I was at Easy, I said, no, come on, please use controllers. You can use controllers for that. They're made for this. And from a best practice point of view, the best practice will guide you to be able to reuse properly all your code. The problem, if you trigger fetches from the wrong layout, it will be much harder to maintain this and to reuse stuff, use bricks of your application for a command line, for instance, which is a valid controller as well. So you can always say, I don't need this. That's I don't need to do in a command line. I just need to display HTML. Yes, that's a fairly point. But you cannot predict the future and what your project or your customer will ask you in 2 months, saying, hey, actually, I would like to get the author in an email sent from the cron tab. That's out of the blue. So, well, we're talking about software architecture anyway, so we're... but here, what I wanted to show you is that we can, with EzCoreExtra, we can implement a service which will not be directly used by your template, but that will be able to provide new variables and use your business logic. So basically, it's like adding a new microcontroller which is very lightweight. So this is what we're going to do right now. So for this, we'll first create a new class. So in app bundle, we create a new directory, and so it will be the namespace provider. And we'll create a new class, which we'll call metadata provider. And the namespace will be app bundle provider. Okay. No, I don't want you to add it to Git. This provider, to be recognized by EzCoreExtraBundle, must follow the view parameter interface. So not the, yeah. Implements view parameter provider interface. Let's just add method stubs. And okay, we just need to get to implement this method. We'll come to that a bit later. Now let's just have a constructor. Okay, and we'll have the user service, since we want to load the author of each and every for this content. So user service. Okay, and we'll initialize the field. Okay. So this service will be used to load our author, our owner. Now, in getViewParameters, you are being passed a configurable view, which is actually the view object that will be used to render your content view, well, content or any kind of view in Easy Platform. So here you can see that it implements the base view system, which has the template identifier, which is the logical name of your template. You can inject parameters, add parameters, get parameters, blah blah. The config hash we don't use that. The view type, the controller reference, well, and very important, the current content and the current location. So basically, from here, when you're here, you can access you can access the current content and the current location, which is basically a start. Okay. The second argument, we'll come to that afterwards when we will enhance this view parameter. So what we want is to get the author. So to get the author, we first have to get the current content. So I will do a lot of temporary variables. We'll refactor afterwards. So view, get content. And to get the user ID, the owner ID, content info, owner ID. Okay, so now we are where we want it when at the very first level. So owner ID, we cannot do anything about that. But now we also have the user service. So owner. This user service load user by user ID. Now we have the user object. And this method, all it has to return is a hash of variables you want to pass to the view. Okay, remember we did that in the configuration. We will basically do exactly the same, but passing dynamic variables passed in PHP. So return. I will need the square bracket. Here. Yeah, or array. Author, owner. Okay. So, but we're not finished yet. We got two things to configure. What do we have to configure first? The service, exactly. So as we're using Symfony 3, we have app-config services.yaml. So we're going to open it. And we're going to create a new service based on this this reference. So this will be okay, arguments. Yeah. Donc, so it's at EasyPublish user. Yes. EasyPublish.api.service.user. our main argument. Do you know this notation about for a service? It's not really auto-wiring. We're not using it yet. Yeah. So this is new in Symfony 3.3. You don't have to specify the class setting anymore. You just have to have the class as the service name. And if you don't provide the class setting, it will use the service name as the class to use. This is quite handy. We're not going to use auto-wiring here because EasyPublish kernel is not ready for it, since, well, for several limitations. But here we need a tag.
Could you make the 2.8 version of the description, please?
Sure. So it will be, for example, app.metadata provider, and then I'll have class this way. Oh, you're still on 2.8?
Thank you.
Okay, I need now a tag. And so I need a curly bracket. Oh. Curly bracket somewhere. And a closing curly bracket. Okay. So name, the tag name is EzCoreExtra.viewParameterProvider. And we need an alias. Alias would be metadata provider. So the alias here will help us reference this provider in our Easy Platform YAML. Hopefully, I didn't break anything. Hopefully. Okay. It compiled fine, but we still don't have anything. A metadata underscore provider. Here it is. Now, we need to bind this provider to our view configuration. That's very easy to do. So in easyplatform.yaml, we'll remove all this unuseful stuff or useless stuff. And we'll add a new metadata variable. Okay. Using the provider metadata provider. So this matches the alias we had on our service. No. Metadata here will be the variable name. And here the provider option, well, the provider key will be the name of the provider. That's all, for now. So let's take now the rides in the correct one. No, that's okay. And I think, yeah, created. Here we have the author, but we will just remove this. Thank you. That's what I was thinking about. So here we have metadata dot author dot name. It's user is a content. Of course, in real life, you will have the translating stuff, and or I could use easy content name actually. So yeah, maybe we should do that, but. Yeah. So easy content name. Okay. So you see here metadata, which corresponds to what is provided by our provider. Inside, we have an author key. So metadata.author. The variables provided by the provider are always namespaced, so sandboxed, let's say. So this way, you're sure that it will never collide with already defined variables. So let's try. All right. Here we go. We have our administrator user. Yeah, okay. But let's say we have a bit more complicated rules, business rules. By default, we want the owner name, but sometimes on some content, we also have an author field with the author field type. So what we could do is to add options here so that we could leave the possibility to use the field instead. That's the case for the ride. We have inside here, if we take the view, there is an author field. The identifier is author, everything lowercase. So we want to show this, if available. So that's exactly what we're going to do. For this, we will need to expose options. So now, instead of just implementing view parameter provider interface, we will extend the abstract class configurable view parameter provider. Let's have a look at it. You see here, it defines an abstract function, configure options. So here you will be able to define options you want to expose to the configuration. Here, the getView parameters that we implemented just before is final here, so we'll have to remove it. But it also defines another abstract function, which is doGetParameters, which is basically the equivalent from here. Okay, so here I will just cut, remove this, and implement oh, okay, it's already implemented. Let's get everything here. Okay, so we want to add options. What could we expose as options? Here, any of you didn't never manipulate the options resolver components from Symfony? Never? Okay. So, yeah, that's awesome. It's good for your certification. Okay, so basically you have you're being passed here the options resolver. So we'll just say to the options resolver, where is it? Set default. We're just giving set default values for options. We'll say array. We're exposing use author field with a default value false. And another one, author field name, which will be just author by default. You can also set set required, so that here you will define required options. You can also set types, available types for several options. So this is very powerful. Here it is pre-configured for you. It's actually very easy to use. You just have to instantiate it and basically pass it the hash of options you're being passed in the constructor, for instance. So then you can use hashes again for options and not setters. That's much easier. Okay. So now it's a bit more powerful. We still need to get the content. Okay, here, let's refactor. No, refactor. Refactor inline. Control Alt N. Okay. Let's say if options, because options that are passed here are already validated by the configure options, by the options resolver. So we're sure to have the key we're going to use. So if options use author field, so basically if it's true, curly bracket, yeah, then let's take the author name equals content get field value. So we have the author field name in an option as well. So we'll use options. Author, you see, it's even auto-completing. And that's it. We just, as the we just have to cast it, since the field value for the field type author will just display.
You should not use author field, but author field name on that line.
Oh, thank you. I would have again a fatal error anyway. Thank you. It's author field name. So I was saying that the field value object for an author field type will just be can be converted to string like any value objects anyway, and it will just display all the authors separated by commas. So okay, that's good. Now, no. Let's take this, remove this, and do we have author name? Double question mark, PHP 7 only. If we don't have it, we'll load it. We have to tell phpstorm we're using PHP 7. No. settings. Settings. So where is it? PHP, we're using 7.1 here. Okay. So now I don't have any error. Do you know this operator? So it's like this one, except that it also works if author name is not set. So basically it does a if is set and has a value, then use it, otherwise fallback. So this is starting from PHP 7.0. Okay, so now we have the author name. Yeah, you're right. So we'll just do get name. So now, instead of using EzContent name here, we'll just use metadata.author. No, just author. It's the name of the variable is author. And remember, we set options. So it means that here we can provide it. So if I don't do anything, this will still work, but this will still load administrator user. Because we didn't tell by configuration to use the author field. So it's still using the owner. But as we defined options, I can say options, I need here, use author field, true. We don't have to customize the field name, which is another options we exposed, because in our content, it's equals to the default value that is exposed here. But we could, like, author field name, author. And now, we have it. So now it's using the field name. Okay, we have a precious metadata. What could be useful as well? We already mentioned it, but that could be whatever it is, whatever you want. So, what do you think about? Something you always need a controller for, or a twig function for, or children. We could. Not sure we have children here. I will check in the. I will check. Yes, we have 2 sub-items. All right.
It's already done by the web.
Yeah, but anyway. Okay, let's load the children. We could also load the content type. But we'll do both. Okay? First, yeah, I'm almost finished, so that's fine. Children are loaded, let's say by we'll do this very simply. So we'll use the location children and use location service and load children, but of course you can do a custom query for that. So let's say we want the location service. Okay. We initialize fields. And we would need to add a bit more, well, we need to polish a bit our business logic here, because if it doesn't have children, maybe it will blow up. But okay, children. Here, okay. Okay, if you use the site API, it will be automatically translated. Am I right?
Yes.
That's one of the awesomeness of the site API. So children, this location service, children something, load location children, and pass the view get location. And now, yes. I was about to ask what So now we, of course, have a new dependency. So as we still don't use auto-wiring, we need to change the service definition. That's the good thing about auto-wiring. You don't have to bother about that anymore. So, easy publish service location. Location. Yes. And now let's maybe only do a dump or right. Okay, let's do that here. No. Let's say we 4. We said children. Yeah, child in children. I always mix those. If children is not empty, and 4. Will only display the names. So we have child dot content info dot name. We'll have locations. So we'll need the content info and the name property. Okay? Does it work? Okay. Why? Type error. Get location, get content? Ooh, that's a bug. Well, you know, I pushed this update like 2 days ago. Okay, I will fix this right away in vendor. Don't look at it. So it's in configurable view, you said. Configurable view. Oh shit, sorry. Get location. You can easily do a pull request right now. Sorry? Yeah. Okay, this is different. Okay, what is wrong with it now? Yeah, children is not defined, but why? Metadata dot children. But I think it's iterable. We'll see. That will be a surprise. Now in rides here. It's okay. I'll check that. Metadata. No. Child in metadata dot children. Okay. If metadata, yeah. All children is not empty. You said location list. You're right. Okay, so then in our metadata provider, locations. Better. Right. Okay. Here we go. What? Yeah, I will go back on the codes, yes. So, here we exposed a children variable, so metadata.children. And we loaded location children from view get location, locations property. Then we updated the ride template just to reiterate on it, the metadata children. Did you know this in for tag? The beauty of for in Twig is that you can add a condition to do the loop, and you can also do a else. Yes, to filter it, yes. And here, if there is nothing, we could do here, else, display something else that like no items. So, here we're fine. Is that clear? Yeah? Do you want to use it in your projects, or is it just pure dump? You can say that it's pure dump.
I'm using the easy column. Is granted.
Yes.
Granted from the in and EzCoreExtraBundle.
Yeah.
So that's the one I'm using. But why not parameter providers? They seem like a nice thing to do.
The great advantage of parameter providers is that first, of course, you're not forced to implement custom controllers, which is much heavier, and you can reuse them. And remember, I talked about the query parameter here to use the query controller. This is awesome, the query controller, but it's quite limited since you can only define one query. But if you want to do several queries at once, you can use parent providers to do that. And they will be reusable.
Can they be used outside of easy use?
Outside of?
Easy use.
Well, you have to call them in your controller. So there will be pure services. But maybe there is something to think about. Yeah, exactly. So we need to discuss that.
I mean, I have a use case for that.
Okay, let's talk about it afterwards. Yeah, sure, no problem. And so here you can imagine anything. Here it's all about metadata. We could load content type. That's what I wanted to show you, but it's always the same. So we inject the content type service, we load the current content type, and voila, it's available. This is kind of the providers that could be reused across all views. In the next versions of EzCoreExtraBundle, this is one of the features I want to implement. So basically to be able to declare always triggered param providers so that in all your views you always have your content type, you always have the author and so on. And for example, we could propose some for NetGen Site API, for instance. That maybe. Also, for now, you cannot use param providers in Twig globals, in context-aware Twig globals. But the plan is to be able to use them as well. And well, even if it can be a bit cumbersome to implement this when you need when you only need to load, I don't know, load children, for instance, implement a new service and so on. So that's why I want to implement expression. So the expression language for this is very versatile. So we could access directly to the current content, to the current location, access to load content function and so on. So it would also drastically reduce the need to implement PHP code, even though it's quite trivial actually, but still, we're lazy, aren't we? So I don't have anything to show you anymore. We have, 10 minutes of questions. It's actually already triggered by an event, but so basically when you're on your controller, it's called before. So if your controller will be called before, you can mix them because the parameter provider and the parameter injection, variable injection in Vue templates is triggered by an event listener which listens to pre-parameter view something. I can't remember it. Pre-content view listener. So which is triggered by the view layer basically. So it comes very late. So then it just depends on your needs, actually. It just depends on your needs. If you need to be exposed to more events, but once you're in your controller, there are not much events. So.
What's the advantage to use this query injection instead of by default I can override the controller, of course.
Yes. Yes.
Inject the template variables.
The problem with the overriding, extending the basic controller is that it will be you're coupling to the current state of the Vue controller, and that has been proven from EasyPublish 5.4 to EasyPlatform 1 that a lot of things have changed in the Vue controller. So you will be bound to a state of EasyPublish kernel, which is generally not a good idea. So instead of extending the default controller and so basically using inheritance, that's the problem with inheritance. You're bound to the mother class. So if the mother class changes, even if it's using semantic versioning and you know that it will blow up in the next major version, it's always a pain in the ass. So that's why it's always better to have a more defensive approach. Even still, it's still possible. If it works for you, do it. And as well, please use the parent provider as an entry point only. That means that don't do much business logic here. This is a bit like a controller. So if you need to use some business logic, inject another service and do your business logic in that service. Again, this is software architecture, but it's very, very important. And it will ease migrations from one version to another, even with EzCoreExtraBundle, because things will change as well. Better changing only the entry points than everything in your code. Okay. So that's it. Thank you for listening. I hope I could show you some useful stuff and show you that yeah, everyone is messing up the cache in Easy and Symfony, even former Easy engineers. Everyone, thank you.